the shark dichotomous key lab. You'll notice there's 2 assignments. They're both the same assignment. I just broke them into 2 different pieces because it's going to be easier for you to complete it if you have them open in 2 different tabs. So the first one we're going to open is our task sheet with the instructions. So we're going to use what's called a dichotomous key. What we've been talking about is classifying plants and animals, living things, based on their characteristics, physical characteristics, and their genetics. We put them into groups with organisms that have similar characteristics, closely related, and then we also give them names, scientific names, so that they can be easily identified and distinguished between other living things. So with a dichotomous key, essentially what we're going to do is it's going to be a guide that's going to help us to determine what that organism is. So for a background, go ahead and read the background on your own. For using the key, we're going to have what's looks like this, okay? We have our 11 unidentified sharks or stingray looking things. And then we have our data table here, and we have the names. The reason I put the names down here is so that you can literally just highlight them, copy and paste them in. We're going to be answering a series of questions about each of these organisms, so that way we can identify them. When we look at the next page, here are the questions that we're going to go through. The first step is we always start at number 1. No matter what, you've identified an organism, you're doing a new one, you always go back to number 1. And that's what it says here. Use the key, always start at statement 1 for each new shark. You're going to read the 2 statements, and you're going to follow the directions of what it says. You have to identify which of the 2 statements is correct based on the one you're looking at. If the statement instructs you to go to another statement, you follow the directions and then choose the best of those 2 statements. If the statement ends in a family name, you're going to write that name on the data table, okay? It says on the line below the shark, but what I've done is I've created this data table for you. We're going to do the first 2 together, and then you'll finish the rest on your own. So here we have a little bit of a diagram that's a key to help us identify certain aspects of the animal. There's words that you might not recognize: dorsal fin, the gill slits, pectoral fin, the caudal fin. So if you don't know what it is, use this as a guide. So if we start with the first one, number 1, okay, let's look at the shape of it, and let's look at the first question. So we've got body kite-like in shape if viewed from the top, or body not kite-like in shape if viewed from the top. So if we look at this, is this shaped like a kite, yes or no? Yes, this is shaped like a kite. So we're going to go with the statement body kite-like in shape if viewed from the top. It says go to statement 12. We're going to follow down to statement 12. A small dorsal fin present near the tip of the tail, or no dorsal fin present near the tip of the tail. And again, if you don't know what a dorsal fin is, a fin is essentially a protrusion coming out that's going to help either guide the animal or help stabilize it. So looking at the tail area, we need to see, do we have fins sticking out, yes or no? The answer is yes, we do. These little guys sticking out right here are fins. So we're going to go with number 12, small dorsal fin present near the tip of the tail, and it just tells us this is the family, okay? So we've identified number 1 as this Ragidae. We go onto our chart. All we need to do is find this Ragidae here, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it into the box for number 1. That's it. Now, if we move on to number 2, okay, we need to start back at question 1. We go all the way back up to the top. So is the body kite-like in shape or not kite-like in shape? If we look here, this is very clearly not shaped like a kite. Okay, so we're going to go with B. This says go to statement 2. Statement 2 says, is there a pelvic fin absent and is the nose saw-like? Or do we have a pelvic fin present? So let's look at what a pelvic fin is. If we look here, we've got a fin right here by the gills. We've got the tail, and then we've got a pelvic fin. So it's in between the pectoral fin and the caudal fin. So let's look. Do we have one of those? Yes, we do, right here. We have a pectoral fin, or we have a fin here between the fin here and the tail, okay? So when we look at our dichotomous key, all right, we have a pelvic fin present. We also know that the nose is not saw-like. So pelvic fin present, we're going to go to statement 3. Move to statement 3, 6 gill slits or 5 gill slits. So again, let's look. If you can't see it, we can always zoom in. and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that we have 5 gill slits present. This is saying go to statement 4. Statement 4, only one dorsal fin or 2 dorsal fins. So again, if we don't know what a dorsal fin is, they're on the top of the animal. So we've got one here and we've got a second one here. So how many dorsal fins do we have? We've got 1 and then we've got 2. So we're going to go with 2 dorsal fins. 2 dorsal fins says go to statement 5. So now we need to look at the mouth. Mouth at the front of the snout or mouth on the underside of the head. So let's look. Here's our little line of our mouth. Here's an example of one that's in the front. That's a mouth in the front. This is a mouth that's underneath, okay? It's sitting underneath their head. So we're going to go with that one, mouth on underside of head. Go to statement 6. Now, number 6, head expanded on the side with eyes at the end of each expansion, or head not expanded. So if we look here, the head is not expanded. There's nothing coming off of it. The eyes aren't sticking out on the side, kind of like a hammerhead shark. That's not what's happening here. So we're going to go head not expanded. Go to statement 7. Number 7 says the top half of the caudal fin about the same size as the bottom half, or is the top half of the caudal fin different in size from the bottom half? So if we look at our key, the caudal fin is this back fin here, this tail fin. So what it's saying is if I cut this right in half, like this one, the top half of this is identical to the bottom. I could fold them in half, fold it over, and it would be matching up perfectly. That's what it's asking. So if we look at this tail, if I cut this tail in half, is it going to be the same on the top and the bottom, or is it going to be different? This one's going to be different, right? It's not symmetrical. So we're going to go with caudal fin. Top half of caudal fin is different in size than the bottom half. So we're going to go to statement 8. Number 8 says the first dorsal fin very long, almost half the total length of the body, or is the first dorsal fin regular length? Again, if you don't remember the dorsal fin, here's your first dorsal fin. This is what we're going to look at on the back of this shark. So right here, looking at that dorsal fin, that is a normal sized dorsal fin. It's not huge, so that's what we're going to go with for that statement. First dorsal fin regular length, go to statement 9. So number 9, caudal fin very long, almost as long as the entire body, or is the caudal fin regular length? So let's look. This is your caudal fin. That is huge, right? That is a giant caudal fin. So we're going to go with caudal fin very long, almost as long as the entire body. And that's your answer right here. Family is Allopidae. So again, you go back to the bottom, find that word. Oh, here it is. Something happened with my formatting. There we go. So we're going to copy that and we're going to paste it right in there. Okay? And all you have to do is do that for the other 11, the other 9 sharks. Okay?